right, Jim, we are back with the 12 steps, the secular version of 12 steps, and we are at step number 4. The old version is made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves, and we're changing it to step 4. The secular version is we took an honest look at ourselves, our actions, patterns, and past. Taking an honest look at ourselves, our actions, patterns, and past. When I first read step 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves, I didn't know what the hell they meant there. I go, what does that mean, really? A searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. But if we change it to take an honest look at ourselves, our actions, patterns, and past, and a lot of times there's a sticking point. This step alone is a sticking point for many of us. You agree with that?
That's exactly what happens. And that's what I was going to talk to you about too, Mike. There's, of all the steps in the 12 steps, 4 and 9 are the ones where people really drag their feet. And I've known from my personal experience working on clinical teams that any sponsor-sponsee relationship that's worth its weight in gold, the sponsor is telling the person to dive in deep on step number 4. And the sponsee comes back and says, okay, I've done my fearless inventory. I've really gotten personal. And the sponsor looks through it and goes, keep going. Keep going. We're not done yet. And it takes weeks, sometimes months, to really pour through, depending on your story in life, to pour through this inventory, this courageous inventory you're doing on yourself.
Yeah. When I first went through the steps the first time, I got to 4. I was excited. I'm like, I can't wait to get to these steps. This is going to be, this is life changing. I can't wait to get to 9 so I could start making amends to people. And I want to get through this. It was exciting for me. At the very beginning, I thought, okay, this is going to be good. When I get to step number 4, I'm going to power through it. I'm going to be open and honest. And I did get to step number 4. And I had a sponsor, and I go, okay, steps 1, 2, and 3 went by pretty good, maybe a week a piece or so. Step 4 took a little longer. And every week I'm like, oh man, I need to continue doing this. I need to dive deep into this. And it's a practice of really deep self-reflection. And I examine my actions, my patterns, my motivations, and trying to get some insight. And insight is the foundation of growth. So, and it's a sticking point for a lot of us. And in my case too, I went to it, and I remember calling my sponsor up, and this is maybe a month, maybe 6 weeks, probably about 6 weeks. I kept telling him, okay, next week we'll get to it. Next week we'll get to it. And I saw my sponsor at a lot of meetings out there. So he knew that I was working a good program. He knew that I was sober and doing the best that I could and being honest with myself and working a good program. And I remember calling him one day, and this was a changing point in my recovery, my thoughts about recovery, personally for myself, how I interpret where my life was going. I said, hey, I'm really sorry. I'm still working on the 4th step, and I know it's been about 6 weeks or so, 7 weeks. And he goes, Mike, this is your program. You do it when you're ready to do it. And when he said, this is my program, for some reason, I interpreted it as, wow, it was like a revelation. Like, this is my program. It's me, right? It's not everything else around me. It's me. And everybody else has their own program. And I think at that moment, I started having more acceptance in my life for others and acceptance with my life and what I'm doing with my life right now. And it was a good part in my recovery where I remember thinking like, okay, this is my program. I'm working on me. So why do I have to keep on looking at other people and judging them for what they're doing in their program? I have to concentrate on my program. And when he said that, I'm like, okay, it's my program. Then he said, well, if we're having the same conversation a year from now, then we might have some issues we could talk about. Within a couple weeks of that conversation, I went through the 4th step, and it was very enlightening and really heartfelt and emotional. And it was a blessing and a relief.
When we take an honest look at ourselves, this is where people can struggle. It's not about beating yourself up. It's not about reliving your guilt. And those are hard places to get through. Like we've talked about before, when we live in a place where we're thinking about the guilt and the shame of our past, or the anxiety and fear of the future, those are very difficult places to live. When we can center on today, the here and now, what am I doing today? I'm taking an honest look at myself. I'm not going to beat myself up or relive the guilt and the shame of the past. What I'm doing, I'm facing reality with clarity and compassion. I'm taking a look at who I am, how I've acted, and how those actions have shaped my life and my relationships. And we can shape our lives in amazing ways. We can shape our relationships in amazing ways, or we can shape our lives in horrible ways, which also affect our relationships. You can't change what you won't face. So step 4 is about courageous truth telling.
Yeah, and it is hard. And why is it so hard? We bring up the things from our past, and we put those things a lot of times in the back of the closet, or we throw it in the backpack and we just put more stuff on top of it. And pretty soon, it's sort of out of our recent memory, and we try to forget about these things. Your sick is your secrets, those secrets that we keep, those things that were in our past, the pain, the regret, patterns of behaviors that we've avoided for years. And a lot of people stop at step 4, not because they're weak, right? It's not a weakness that they're dealing with, but the emotional honesty that we deal with, especially with another human being, and dealing with these issues that we have in our past, is a lot of work. And it's a lot of work for us in our high stress roles, if we're first responders, and we're trained to we're trained to compartmentalize our lives, and it can be really difficult to get through.
Absolutely. Well, you take a look at the harm you may have not just brought yourselves, but others, the pain that you've not just brought yourself, but others. You think about, folks that are in their addiction and what they're doing to their families and friends and their places of employment. But then also, sometimes we're stealing from our family in order to pay for our addictions. And you start realizing in your sobriety, oh my gosh, I actually took that jewelry from grandma and sold it for $20. And so all of a sudden you're having these moments of clarity in your recovering mind. These memories are coming back, and it's difficult. It's really wise to walk through these with such a good sponsor, good support team, good therapist that can help you navigate these memories and these thoughts that we go through. It's looking at ourselves too, Mike. It's not focusing on what others did to us, because we could do that all day long for the rest of our lives. This is about looking inward. What were my choices? I know I was a child of abuse. I know I was a child of this, or this happened and this happened. And there's room for that. But what were my choices? What were my reactions? What was my role in the patterns or the conflicts? And what motivated me back then? Was it fear, pride, shame, resentment, insecurity, whatever it was? This part invites us to dive into self-responsibility. I take responsibility for myself for the first time ever. In stone, the end. I'll take responsibility. It ends with me. And I'm not going to blame myself. I'm taking responsibility now.
Yeah, what was my part in it? And it's a lot easier, like you said, to point the finger at other people's parts and why it happened this way, and why that, I was suffering through these moments and was the victim in this circumstance. But if you can look at it as, what was my role? What is my role in this? Now, if we go back to childhood, we're innocent. We are, controlled by our parents or whoever the adult parental figure was in our lives. And we're sort of in that situation where we didn't really have a choice in a lot of situations, and we might have been taken advantage of, and a lot of bad things could have happened to us. So no, we don't have any responsibility there. Okay. As a child, But my responsibility is that, or my part in it is that I'm now 42 years old and I still have not done anything about it. That's my responsibility. I've been holding this on, inside me since I was 7 years old or 8 years old, and I haven't done anything about it. I've been holding the secret in. Now I'm making the change. Now I'm owning up to what my responsibility is in this, and my part is to deal with it. So I don't have to hold on to this stuff anymore. Let go of these things that don't serve me anymore.
We're going to take a look in step 4. We take a look at actions. What have I done? Especially when I'm acting in fear, pain, or in my addiction. What are the lies I've told? Who are the people that I've hurt? What are the promises that I've broken? And what harm did I bring to myself and to others? What are my patterns of behavior? Am I pushing people away? Am I self-sabotaging? Am I chasing down validation? Am I avoiding conflict until it explodes? And like Mike was talking about earlier, and we alluded to, we'll take a look at how our life story shaped our beliefs and our behaviors. What were my childhood wounds? What's the past traumas? What are the old coping mechanisms? What were the defining relationships or events in my life? But then it's that pendulum that swings. We're not going to wallow in the past. It's just about understanding it, so it doesn't have to keep running the show in our lives unconsciously.
Yeah. And it really helps. It helps dealing with resentments.
Yes.
Holding on to those resentments is such darkness in our being, right? I mean, we hold on to these things. It's just part of the anger that we hold on to sometimes. And when we get to look at it and sort of flip it a little bit, like, what was my part? I mean, you might have a sexual inventory. You might have a theft inventory. Whatever you've dealt with in your life, you talk to someone that you trust, aka a sponsor or a support person that you trust completely, and you can open up to and be 100% honest with them, and know that it's confidential between you two. Not saying that the other person wouldn't say anything. We're human beings, right? They're not bound by HIPAA, right? But or if you speak to a therapist, they are bound by HIPAA, so they can't talk about it. So that might be the safest route for you if you need that. But if you're ready to let go of this kind of stuff, it will help with your resentments. You'll start to see the other side of it too. And do you really need to hold on to those resentments? And that's a whole nother podcast about that. But resentments is a killer also, just like addiction is. It'll bring you down. It'll shape your lives. And I just remember that. I remember thinking that I'm broken. I can't be fixed. I made these mistakes. Instead of saying I'm broken, I just tell myself now I'm learning. Looking honestly at my life doesn't mean that I'm bad. It means that I'm brave. Diving deep into these old wounds that still are fresh in my mind is a sense of strength, not weakness. The judgment that I think I'm getting from others is my figment of my imagination. It's none of my business what other people think about me, Jim. It's my business what I think about myself. And if I'm really small and I'm hopeless, I don't think anything of myself. I actually hate myself. Welcome to the planet. Jim, I love using that one. That's a good. I love when you say that.
It's always amazing when I hear
it from you.
When I hear it coming from somebody else, I love it.
Yeah, because it's progress, not perfection, right? It's you're dealing with these things, and yes, a lot of us suffer that, and we continue to live our lives in that state of I'm worthless. My inner critic tells me how bad I am, and I agree with it, and I cuss myself out all the time. And I'm living this life, and it's not fun at all. I see more pain than happiness in my life, and I'm not grateful for things. And it could start with being grateful, but like looking in it, taking a deep dive into your past, and looking at your resentments, looking at the things that were done to you and you done to others or done to yourself, and getting through those things, right? Because then, eventually you'll be able to deal with it. If you keep on going through these steps to step 9, when it comes right, you may have the opportunity to make amends to people that you might have harmed in your life or might have harmed you. It's a really great way to live your life.
It is. And we'll talk in some future podcasts about making amends and how to handle that. Step 8 going into step 9. And there are some people we can make amends to, and there's some that it's wise not to. And we'll cut that all apart in a future podcast. But for today's show, we're talking about step 4, self-awareness, growth, accountability, clarity, and healing. Good therapy digs things up. And so you can feel that happening as we talk about these steps, especially today. Not talking about living in shame and the guilt of the past. We're talking about getting it into the light of day so we can understand ourselves more deeply. That's self-awareness. We're talking about getting things into the light of day to see what needs changing and what can be built upon. We have to be able to see what needs to be changed. That's growth. And to understand our own impact on others and ourselves. And that's accountability. And to untangle confusion or denial, that's getting clarity. And then healing, to break free of this past, not be defined by it. Good therapy digs things up, but good therapy gives us a place to go. And that's what step 4 is all about.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And I would recommend highly to start journaling. Write this stuff on paper. Write it all, 1 through 12. I mean, not all at once, but like when you're going through it, like write it down. Write it down. Make those lists. It's hard to remember things, unless you have it in front of you. I think it's very important in recovery to have journals and have lists and be able to keep track of your life and your journey, your experience, your adventure. Look at it as a positive, not a hassle. I mean, I wouldn't be in recovery right now if every day was a struggle. If every day was a struggle for me, I'm doing something wrong. I'm not completely going in 100%. I have to come all the way in and sit all the way down, and and use the common acronyms that we use in recovery. How it works: honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness.
My favorite acronym is HALT: hungry, angry, lonely, tired.
Yep.
Taking a look at those pieces and what were my reactions based on being low blood sugar, coming into a situation hot or getting hot in the situation, coming in lonely, going through some kind of a personal problem, loss of a career, breakup of a relationship, isolating myself and just not getting rest, just over and over and over again. We talk about the importance of getting sleep, and when we're going through hard times or our work can really affect those sleep patterns as well. So and not feeling well, sick, coming in. Those are the things I always try to keep my eye on.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you're taking an honest inventory of yourself, try to recognize what emotions come up when you think about it. Like right now, when you're thinking, oh, I'm taking an honest inventory of myself, what emotions are coming up? Hopefully you have a therapist or someone you can go to and sort of talk about it, through these emotions and what you're feeling about it, and what tools help you to be honest with yourself. And some of the tools might be journaling, talking to someone, having some quiet time, but journaling those things down openly and honestly on a piece of paper, handwritten. I would strongly suggest. Some of us like to type or use our notes on our phone. I don't think it's as personal as like actually writing it in there and remembering it. But and what part of our lives are we have we avoided looking at, and why do we think that is?
Doing step 4, developing this inventory, it's a work in progress. It's much like going shopping and you have a list in front of you that you've been writing. Okay, I need to get soap, I need to get milk, I need to get these different things. And then as you just go through life, you're driving someplace, you drive into the store, you're walking through the store, you see reminders, I need to get this now. And that's the inventory that we're doing. You're just doing life. Like Mike says, you're writing it down, or maybe you're doing an audio recording with newer technology these days, but you come back to the point where you just don't fluff it off. You sit and spend time with it and write these things down, because you've got to take them to your sponsor at some point and do a discussion with these pieces. But you can see how making it a work in progress, an ongoing running journal, so to speak, is really helpful. And so jot them down, write them down. I know people that have those yellow stickies all over their dashboard in their cars. Oh, I got to write that down, or they're sending themselves messages and then they sit down over a cup of coffee and just, okay, you know what? Let's go through my list now. Let's keep adding it to it. Just like going shopping. I forgot to get soap. Put that on the list too.
Yep. Oh, 100. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. And making lists is a great thing to do. When you're thinking about parts of your life that you're avoid looking at, what if you would like look at it as if you were supporting a friend going through it? If someone came to you, I got two things. If someone's come to you with something, wouldn't you be that ear that would listen to them and guide them through what they're dealing with? If someone trusts you enough to come with their issues or problems, wouldn't you be that person to listen and offer suggestions if that's what they wanted? Since we've made these 12 steps secular, so anybody can use them. And you mentioned sponsor a few times. We talk about having someone that you can support. And then I mentioned therapy. Now, this would be a great advantage. Let's say if you have a therapist or you're looking at getting a therapist and you go there and you're not sure where to dive deep into, right? You don't know where to start at. You don't know how much you can trust them or not. Maybe you can start working their steps with someone like a therapist. You're covered by HIPAA, so no one's going to know about it. They're not going to be calling their friends. You don't even know them. Hopefully, you're not friends with your therapist, maybe not to start off with. I mean, it does happen. But in a therapeutic relationship, it's good to have that outside third party that you can bounce things off of and work through these steps. No one says you can't use a therapist or a priest or whoever you trust. But if you can walk through each one, that would be building blocks and that would be tools you can do weekly with that person and work through it. And let's say you get through 1, 2, and 3, and then you hit number 4 and you're like, okay, this is getting really deep. It's designed that way. It's designed that way as it gets further along, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's designed to get a little bit more difficult, a little bit more emotional. If you've been 100% honest with yourself during the process, it'll be a lot more smooth than if you're holding stuff back and have to go back a little bit, which it does happen sometimes. But if you're able to open up to a therapist or someone that you trust like that, where you can actually start doing some work on this and really dedicate your time to doing this. We dedicate 8, 10 hours a day to work, most of our lives. A lot of us don't get to retire at all. Some of us get retired when we're old and we don't have the ability to do a lot anymore, right? That's how life is sort of designed. Maybe you can start now, take an hour out of your week to find that time to seek help, have a therapist, go to some meetings and start working on these steps because you'll probably find that you'll better your life. So that's what I came up with in my mind, thinking about, sticky notes and stuff and keeping track of your recovery.
Mike, I love it when clients come to me and they want to work on their step work. They actually have their journal or their diary, whatever, and they go, Jim, I have some thoughts from the past week that I wanted to talk to you about. And then the opposite true, Mike, and you reminded me of this. I will use, when people get wise to me, they're noticing that I'm actually taking the step work and applying it in therapy. And it can just be therapy there where there is no addiction. It's just talking to the person. Hey, Mike, yeah, what's up, Jim? Tell me about what you'd like to change about you. Mike, do you owe anybody any apologies? It's simple questions like that.
Yeah.
Mike, who is the person you would love to be that you're not? Mike, who's a person in your life that you are modeling yourself after that you're trying to be? I love, asking all those kinds of questions that you get right from the 12 steps. Because like I've said before, the 12 steps are not for people, just for people in recovery. It's good wisdom for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. It's for everybody it's available. This is, one of your things in life that you can make your life a little bit better. And you don't have to be in recovery at all. That's the thing is if recovery is a bad word for you, if you don't want to be labeled or labeled yourself as an alcoholic or big deal, then don't, right? Or suffering from PTS or depression or whatever, then don't. But it could be for anybody. And it's a design for life. It just, when I'm being honest to myself and I'm working the steps, if you don't like 1 through 12, name them A through whatever 12 is. I don't know. N?
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L.
A, B,
Had
C,
to
D,
sing it.
G, H, I, J,
Mike's double checking my singing math.
L. Yeah, it is L.
It's L.
All right. But however you see it, though, I mean, it's just a way of focusing more about changing your feelings about who you are and where you're going to. And it helps a lot when I'm honest with myself. I could be honest with other people. And I know when I'm lying to myself, and I know how to correct that immediately and to change my direction, my thought patterns. So when I talk to other people, I don't have to worry about what they think about me. I'm being who I am. I'm not being someone else anymore. I can change that. I don't have to live that lie anymore. I could be honest with love.
And be honest with yourselves too. A lot of self-awareness when you're leaning into these steps, going to a therapist, going to a 12-step meeting, talking to your sponsor, sitting back and journaling, it is going to dig things up. And that's a good thing. It's going to dig things up. So remember, we talked before about the lists that we have. It's going to probably trigger hunger, angry, lonely, tired, sick, frustrated, feeling disrespected, not being heard, guilt, shame, fear, pain of some sort, physical, emotional, financial. It's going to have the potential to trigger a lot of things in you. So be careful getting back into the speed of life too quickly. Give yourself some time to process the process of the process. And be okay if you're, man, I'm really worn out after this 12-step meeting. Man, I am really worn out after talking to my sponsor. Man, I am really worn out after listening to Jim and Mike and HALT and Call for Backup or talking to my therapist. It might be unwise for me to jump back into life so quickly, or at least I need to be careful. And maybe I need to tell the people who love me, I'm having a bit of an off day today. What happened? I kind of brought some stuff up. I'm okay, but I'm a little worn out. So I'm not on my A game right now. Just give me some time. I'll be back on my A game soon. But to have that kind of fearless inventory of yourself as well, and to be able to communicate it to others. How many times, Mike, I know we're slowing it down. How many times have we gone through, we've gone through a great 12-step meeting. We've gone through a great, meeting with our counselor, and then we're just snapping at the people that love us. How was your therapy? Shut up. Um, between me and my therapist, I get all that, right? But like, what are we working on here? We're working on our relationship to ourselves and our relationships to everybody, everything else too. So it's a good time to practice communication. Mike, I don't feel like talking right now. Just bear with me. I've been through a lot. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm okay. I'm going to go get a bite to eat. And then I'll come back in about an hour, I promise. And talk to you more then.
That's great. It's progress, not perfection. It's identifying what you just said, right? Identifying like, I just snapped at my loved one. I snapped at my husband or wife, and I just like got out of a therapy appointment, and it was actually life-changing, but now I'm back to the same old stuff again. It's that point where we recognize our progress, and we're not perfect. So I'm not going to beat myself up for it. At least I'm trying not to. I'm sorry, honey. I want to make amends to you right now. How do I make this right? But I just snapped at you. I know you're mad. I am working the best program that I possibly can. I don't know where I'm going, but I hear it's okay. I don't know where I'm going. And I know I'm going somewhere good because I'm moving in a positive. And I just need a little bit of grace because I'm trying to find grace in my heart for myself.
Beautiful.
And I have to forgive myself. And I have to like move forward. And I'm recognizing right now that I made a mistake, and I'm owning up to it to you. And I just want you to be aware that I'm going to be better. And maybe someday I won't have to like go back to my old habits. And if I do, I'll give myself grace and I'll move forward in a positive. And that's where the healing starts.
Does. And Mike, and it gets down to that, the simplicity of two responses. Mike, how can I be a friend to you right now? What do you need from me? Do you want me just to listen, or do you want me to offer wisdom? What do you need, Mike? And Jim, I just need you to listen right now. If you could do that, you got it. You got it. No problem. And we all feel that, man. We've been there. I've been there. I've snapped. I've been short. I was given mercy. I'll give it right back. No problem. I'm with you, man. Good stuff.
You just stop it right there. You just froze. I thought maybe you like your internet or something went out, man.
And when I run out of wisdom, I just stop. It's like I need to be wound back up again. There's a key behind me. I'm going to put the battery back in.
Oh, it's all good, man. And we can go on for a long time with this, but let's just cut it up and we'll get back to we'll go, we'll hit on step 5, 6, 7. We'll go through the whole thing. And I love it, man. I know that, things happen in life and we just have to look at ourselves a little bit better and give ourselves some grace. And if you're having problems, the big acronym that we like to talk about a lot here, and that's why we named it HALT and Call for Backup. You halt.
When you're hungry, angry, lonely, tired, sick, not feeling well, when you're feeling disrespected, when you're feeling not listened to, unheard, when you're in some kind of pain, physical, mental, emotional, psychological, financial, when you're afraid, take a step back, take a deep breath, both nostrils, reload and relaunch, and halt.
And call for backup. Don't get fooled again.